treat. It really is,
coming,
man.
bro.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
This is going to be the beginning of many, not just with you, but with your network.
Yes.
You know, you've been really kind to me.
Thank you.
And you've shared your network with me in the last year or two, which I'm very grateful for. And,
well, sharing is caring, man. You know, why hold it all to yourself when I can introduce other people to make other things happen? You know, it's just
100%.
It's the connected web we have. You know,
I feel like you're definitely like a very, very strong networker. I think that's probably I just feel like that's
one of my
strong
suits
for sure.
That's what they found in me, basically at the gym, and they're like, "You're wasting your time staying in here all day. You need to be out talking to people. You need to be going out and meeting people and introducing yourself to different businesses and how we can all collaborate, and especially under the health and wellness umbrella, you know, between these IV places and, you know, I don't know, either these, you know, sports and wellness, rehab, chiropractors. You know, I try to have that umbrella of like a wellness network, and I can always recommend, you know, anybody, and you're my go-to, you know, PI guy, so
and media guy now,
and media,
so
definitely media guy.
If it wasn't for you, if it wasn't for PJ, by the way, let me do this. This is the Miami Lawyer Daddy podcast, and we are very lucky today to have PJ Cicale. Cicale.
You said it real Italian.
Cicale. Peter Jr. PJ is the longtime owner and family operator of my gym that I've been going to now for almost maybe 5, 6, 7 years, down the street at Olympia Gym. And he's actually, if it wasn't for PJ, the studio wouldn't exist, because PJ is the one who introduced me to Arno. Arno is my co-founder in the studio and the media company. And without that introduction, we wouldn't be here sitting in these chairs today. So I couldn't think of a better guy to have on the pod.
Thank you.
Talk about a lot of stuff that we have in common. And Olympia Gym, I owe a lot to Olympia Gym. I've been through 3 back surgeries since I've been a member here, and I've fluctuated in weight and health, and I'm on a huge journey now, and I feel like I'm really doing well. So I'm not where I want to be yet, but I'm making a ton of progress, and going to Olympia and being part of the Olympia family and spending the first like 90 minutes of my day there every morning is just like, it's the best routine. Like, I couldn't change it. I love it. It's right next to my house. It's right next to the studio.
Thank you.
It's amazing. And you're a big part of that. So
thank you. Well, I mean, you are in the heart and soul of Aventura, and we've been in that heart and soul since Aventura became a city.
Yeah.
You know, the gym opened here in 91, and ever since then, you know, we never looked back. And what a great way to introduce health and wellness to the community. And we just do some miracle work sometime over there, because, you know, there's people that never thought they can do a pull-up or never thought they can lose this weight. And that's the beauty of what I do, because that's the reward I reap, is the fact that I'm changing someone's life or lifestyle. And I remember when you first came to me and you're like, I have a goal, I have a plan.
Yeah.
I want to implement it. I want to make it happen. And you found some sources at the gym, a good trainer, you know, guided you along the way. And, you know, this is a journey. It's like the never ending story here.
It is. Everyone has a different like way to find how they want to like be healthy. Hopefully, you know, some people are lost and they're not healthy, and hopefully they all figure it out. And, you know, part of a lot of the stuff I do on social media and media is about like fitness, because I was pretty heavy growing up. And I've obviously battled, you know, health in my back, and a big part of my like message on social and just in general is like helping people get healthier, because I know, especially now that I'm a dad and a husband, like I was just when I was unhealthy, it was just really not good for anybody, my family and my kids, everybody, my wife. And there's a lot of people that are in that position, And it's like, if I could do, if I could help them, and I know that, and the best thing you can do to help others is help yourself.
That's it.
I mean, like, I am on this mission and I'm not stopping. I'm going to get like in insanely good shape. And I've made so many like changes in my diet and my health and not drinking anymore and all these things.
That's
and
great.
it's just, it's the best. Like, I have a lot of people, even though I don't have like a ton of following, I have a lot of people who DM me and they're like, fucking yeah, like, keep going. You're getting ripped. Like, keep doing it. Like, I love to see it. You're inspiring me. And even if it was just one person that said that, I would love it. But there's more and more. And it's like, oh, I have so much. You see me every morning. I fucking love it.
I mean, you do go hard. You never miss. That's one thing. And talk about, being driven or having that willpower, self-control. You talked about, just making an effort to just have that routine.
Yep.
And once you implement that routine and you put your exercise as a priority for the day or the week, then changes are going to happen for the better. You mentioned that you are a father, and I have 2 kids as well, and we are the example to them.
Yeah.
No matter what, we have to set that tone because they're going to mimic us. They're going to see what daddy's doing.
It doesn't matter what you say.
No.
What you say is meaningless.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, my kids
are
don't
like,
listen to me.
they will do whatever they see you do.
Once I see or show them what I'm doing, they're like, oh, I want to do that. Oh, yeah, daddy's doing like yoga in the house and they want to stretch with me and stuff like that.
Which is great. I love that about kids because it's exactly the way it should be. And that's how society should be also. And I think it is for the most part. It's like, people don't give a shit what you say. They give a shit what you do.
Yes.
And your kids, like having 2 little kids in the house, you can never escape that. It's like, damn, they see me drinking a beer. They see me eating popcorn. They see me eating shit. Like, doesn't matter what I say. They see you do it and the damage is done. My
daughter is a real stickler for soda because I kind of brainwashed her. So anytime she sees like the Coca-Cola truck, she's like, the bad soda.
Oh, that's
the
funny.
bad soda. I'm like, yes. I was like, and I try not to like, because even when we're in the grocery store and she goes, Daddy, look, the bad soda. They're drinking the bad soda. And I feel like, oh, no.
You know, it's so funny. Oh, yeah.
I don't want to offend anyone.
You're going to, so I'm tougher than my wife is.
Okay.
And I mean, I think that's normal. Women, are just more nurturing and they want to see the kids be like happy. And daddies are like, no,
put my foot down.
It's bad for them. Like, I don't want to like enable them. So yesterday my wife calls me on the way home and my little one, I could hear, they always love talking when they're in the car. And the little one goes, Dad, they know I'm on the phone. So they go, Daddy, I had soda. And I'm like, I heard that, and my wife's like, "Oh, I'm in trouble."
Oh yeah, I know. When
it was
she
really
me
funny.
About,
I'm like, I'm not mad, but that's hilarious. Like
between
Daddy,
lollipops, soda, like the sugary products, you try to stay away from.
It drives me crazy.
From the,
it drives me crazy, but it's pretty normal from what everybody tells me. Like every birthday party we go to, everyone's kids are like,
I know.
My kid only eats bread. Like that's all I hear. Like I'm like, well, at least that makes me feel better because that's all my kids eat too.
I was at a birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese this past weekend, and I know the pizza. I know it's gonna be. And she loves pizza. Every
my
Friday's
boys love
like
pizza
day at school, so I allow her to have that. I guess cheat day, right? It led into then the cake, and the cake had this blue dye on it, and she was eating it. And her whole mouth was blue. Her tongue was blue, and she had it all over her hands, and it wasn't coming off. I'm like, this is some real sticky dye. I'm like, and we all know like all these like red dye number 5 and blue number 11 or whatever the case is. That's detrimental to their health.
Yeah, and it's going inside them. You can't even wash it off their hands. And
no, I know, and it sits in their system.
Yeah,
and it sparks these neurosensors. It's like giving kids sugar is like giving crack or cocaine or something.
Yeah,
it triggers the same neuroreceptors, and that's pretty much our first addiction as children is sugar, candy.
You're preaching to the choir. I'm trying to get my boys eating as healthy as possible because good habits start young.
Well, you're in the good habit realm right now.
I know. I know. At the end of the day, I'm like, when they get older, they're just going to do whatever I do. So when I get like worked up about it, I'm like, lead by example. Just keep doing the right things and everything else will take care of itself.
Exactly. Yes.
And that helps me kind of like stay calm, because sometimes like when I see them eating junk food and stuff, I get like fed up, but I'm like, and then try and take it away from them.
Oh, it's like
it's murder.
Yeah. It's like the iPad.
Yeah,
Take
exactly.
it away. There is an old proverb, I guess, actions speak louder than words.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's true. 100%. That's what I tell myself. So, I wanted to just kind of like, I really see myself, I've started to connect more. So PJ knows this. You guys don't know this. When I'm in the gym, I don't like talk to anybody. I have my AirPods, noise canceling, have my whatever playlist, and I'm like zoned out. But lately I've kind of tried to force myself to be more social in the gym and talk to people more. I got a trainer. So when I'm training, obviously I can't have my headphones in because we're talking and stuff. And honestly, it's been a really good decision for me to like, I still, when I'm really training, I'm zoned out. I'm in my own planet.
Correct.
But like maybe in between sets or before or after, I'm like carving out some time to talk to you.
Yes.
You're introducing me to like strategic people in the gym that might want to like do business with me or make content or work with the media company. So that for me now, I'm kind of like mentally allocating extra time to spend in the gym that's not for working out. That's for like it's not necessarily like socializing, but it's more just like when
you're on the bike and someone's next to you, you can have a conversation at the same time.
Or like, I'm actually representing a couple gym members for their cases, and I have to like make time to talk to them about their family members or their cases. But I wanted to just like, I think I see a big future for the studio and the gym network. I think that gym content is like one of the biggest pieces of content on social media now. And it's amazing. Like it's healthy for the most part. Obviously, like every topic, there's always going to be unhealthy pieces of it. But like the gym network is a huge thing. I think it's great. I love that like people are healthy and everyone's motivating each other. And
that's the environment we try to create. It's like-minded people.
Yeah.
Same like, needless to say, it's so cliche, but I did meet my wife at the gym.
Oh, really?
I mean, where else am I going to meet you ladies, right?
That's funny.
There's always that one that struck me, and and
gym crush turns into gym wife.
Gym crush turned to gym wife, and it was just because of her routine and her discipline. And I knew for a fact that, wow, this girl's going places. She's very disciplined. She was a young girl at the time, and I was like, there's no 20-year-olds that are set up like this, like, that really have their head on straight.
That's like the most attractive thing, right?
It is, yeah.
Like seeing someone with
I know.
drive.
I've seen all the big butts, the big boobs, the hottest.
Yeah, we see it. We were talking about
girls,
it before.
But you know what? All that aside, if she looks good and has the brains on her, package deal right there.
And she's
disciplined. She cooks and cleans.
Yeah. That's another topic. But no, I think that I'm so happy that we're making this pod, and I know that we're going to make more, but I think that like connecting, and I want to talk to you. I want to like, we've talked about this offline before, but I really want to make some content in the gym.
Yes.
And kind of like maybe even turn it into some kind of show, like a YouTube show or something.
Man, let me tell you, there's been a deep down desire in my heart that I should have had a reality show decades ago, because all the stories that come out of the gym, I am in disbelief sometimes of the stuff I see, the stuff I hear, and I guess the stuff that goes down over time. It really is fit for reality TV. And
we have our own story that we've been talking about, but we're not going to go into the details.
Yeah, we have one character where we've been heavily involved, which is in need of development.
The local shyster.
Yeah, right.
I almost fell victim to, but I think like just the gym life is once you like go into that, once you fall into that like gym life, like you kind of get obsessed and you just want to like, you just want more. Like you want all your friends to be super healthy because then they'll motivate you to be healthier, versus like when you have friends that are like always going out and drinking and doing other stuff, then like they're just, your friends are going to pull you in one direction or another. So It's like I like watching gym content. I like watching it before I go to sleep, and I can like think about what my workout's going to be the next morning, and then I talk to someone in the morning about how how my workout's going, or
or even your nutrition habits and stuff like that. You mentioned about I lost my train of thought.
Was it about like something I mentioned today, or in the
no,
gym?
no, right now. Right now, I guess the benefit of your, I guess me being in that realm all my life.
Yeah,
I've seen people develop that, and that's what drives me and keeps me motivated because I get bored after growing up in the gym.
You've seen people like make huge transformations, probably.
Yes, I have.
Right?
I mean, even from the average Joe to the bodybuilder type of person.
For sure.
And I see a lot of stuff in the sport of, I guess, bodybuilding that's not too healthy. So I curve that a little bit because then I'm that extra set of holistic eyes and ears, looking out for that person because, they're getting influenced by other trainers that are giving them the competitive edge. Yeah. And sometimes that can, I guess, have a reverse effect sometimes on certain people.
I mean, let's just call it out. I mean, going on gear or steroids or whatever you want to call it is fucking very tempting because it is so effective.
Yes.
And it's a shortcut. It's like
the quickest results you'll ever see.
But there is a very clear downside, and we're seeing it. We saw, that guy, Joe Lindner, was a very successful YouTuber and bodybuilder, and he died. And whether or not it was related to gear, he was definitely on a lot of gear. He had an aneurysm. But, it's just very tempting. But it's the perfect analogy of just like everything in life. Like,
how much of something is no good.
How badly do you want the results, and how much are you willing to pay for them? Because you're going to pay for them.
Yes.
Is it going to take 5 years off your life, or is it going to take 50 years off your life?
Yeah.
It's going to take years off your life.
Run that risk of, I guess hidden ailments.
Yeah, you're going to get injured, skin issues.
Your I guess generation history. Do you have a history of high blood pressure, heart attacks, cancer?
Yep.
So your body's a chemistry set.
Yeah.
It's very complicated. I didn't ace my chemistry class, but I know for sure once you start mixing certain ingredients in your body that either will shut things down or enhance it, or when you don't have it, it's going to shut down, and then you're like, what happened to me? And I've seen the biggest guys deflate, and I've seen them go from like that. I think were you talking about with the old man skin?
Oh no, we didn't talk about that.
Well, it's like that leather skin. Like
I know what you're talking about.
You lose the elasticity in your skin cells. Yeah. When you are enhancing them. Over a certain period of time.
For sure.
And just like anything else, you come off something, you're gonna suffer the consequence because you rely on that drug. You rely on that to stay hard, strong, energetic. And when you can do that with just nutrition all by itself, in general, it takes longer. Yes. Now I hear about peptides and stuff like that, which is like it releases the natural, I guess, and your endocrine system. It will.
It's not necessarily as damaging as like old school gear and steroids.
Yes, because you're not replacing it. You're just kind of giving it a.
But there still has got to be side effects. There still has to be a downside. There's no free ride. There just isn't, like, The only way to really do it is to just do it the fucking hard way.
Do it the hard way, man.
Do it the hard way, which is the best way.
Hard work pays off, don't it?
Yeah. It's true. So that's why, like, I love the grind, and I'm enjoying making, a teeny bit of progress every day. Some days I don't make progress, some days I overdo it, and I overdo it, and I go backwards because I go to Kitty's birthday party and I slam 5 slices of pizza. But you know what? That's fine. It's not about being perfect. It's about just like going in the right direction more often than not.
They took that I guess that what was that saying instead of practice makes perfect, practice makes better, or what was it? Practice makes progress. That's what
practice
it is.
makes progress
and that's,
sure.
That's really what it's all about. It's progression.
So speaking of which, I think I was on your Instagram, not recently, but you have phases, right? You had some like phases where you weren't so healthy, right?
Oh,
I saw some pictures.
If you really want to talk,
I mean, I was a fat fuck, so I have.
There's some points of like letting myself go. Like, take for instance, we talked about like, I guess in our 20s, there wasn't so much social media out there, and in my 20s, it was more about who I was hanging out with and what I was doing with them, such as maybe drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
And even though I was training, like it was so beyond weird because I was still an athlete. Like coming out of high school, I played baseball. I played intramurals with flag football. I was on the basketball team. And I did that from middle school to high school. And then college, I kind of laid off the sports and really laid into the college life.
Yeah. A lot. I mean, that's super. That's what everybody can relate to that. Almost everybody does that.
But at the times, I was still disciplined in my way. Like I would go out drinking on a Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Wake up like after 4 or 5 hours of sleep
and hit the gym.
And go hit the gym with my trainer and making me suffer. And I was thinking to myself, why am I doing this to myself? I'm about to like fall over, puke, whatever, dehydrated, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I felt I was doing more damage than good when I was exercising. So it was my balance routine. It's like, all right, I'm drinking, let me exercise. Oh, I'm doing, going out late
night. But you're
night.
Torturing yourself when you do that.
It is. It's torture. Yeah. And it's like a dog running for its tail around circles because you're not really getting anywhere.
Yeah.
And then by the time I hit, I guess, really late 20s, early 30s, that's when I put myself in check. I'm like, look, I'm no spring chicken anymore, but I want to feel like one.
Yeah.
And I still had that ability to do so with, I guess, my condition of like muscle memory and my athletic ways. So I picked up right back where I belong.
Your biggest sport was baseball? Or was it a combination of a few? Or were you
that was the sport I was better in.
That was your main sport?
I loved playing football.
Yeah.
But it was because I'm like, 160 pounds. No way I'm getting on the field with the big dogs.
Yeah, you could only play for up to a certain age.
Flag football, that was most of it. And then, a little basketball, rec center stuff, basketball leagues. So I really enjoyed the competitiveness because that's the athlete in me, so to speak. So, I still have to compete with myself.
Yeah.
No one else now. And I'm teaching the kids how to get involved with, being competitive in maybe for themselves, just in sport. My daughter takes dance now, even though that's more fun.
Is your little one a girl too, or is it a boy?
I have a baby boy.
Okay, the little one is a boy. Okay, that's what I thought.
Baby girl's
amazing.
Same age as your son.
Yours are like a little bit younger.
Okay.
So my boy's almost 5, and my little boy's all just turned 3.
Oh, very nice.
So they're probably like each one is about a year older of yours.
Great.
Yeah, I remember you were a little bit behind. I remember when your girl was born after Sandler was born. Mm-hmm. So now that I think about talking about your journey and everything, you must train later in the day, or when do you train? Because you never train when I train.
Periodically, whenever I can get in, and I do so now, just because of, I guess, the schedule. I play daddy daycare sometimes after school. What we're looking to implement.
But you stay lean, so you have it you have your your whatever you're doing, it's working.
My diet is pretty much the same, to not take in so much caloric intake.
Yeah.
And it's about balancing the calories in versus calories out. Sometimes it's not that hard. You just need to understand what you're eating, how it spikes your insulin levels.
Yep.
Are you storing the sugars, fat? Are you burning fat instead of sugar? So sometimes all this stuff plays a role. Like I just had salmon and quinoa today.
Yeah.
I feel great. It's like my lunch meal, and I had a little small breakfast. But I know since I'm not training as often, I eat lighter.
Yeah.
When I'm training for bulk, I'll eat tons of protein. I'll probably have maybe 5 meals or something in between instead of my 3 square meals, which I have now.
Nice.
Pretty much. So I mean, I want to get more sessions in myself and really have
honestly,
a
I don't
comeback
think
story.
I train 6 days a week because I like the routine. I like keeping, like, I'm lucky enough to be able to have the time to do it.
Yes.
And for me, it keeps me, when I start not taking days off, I start like making worse health, diet decisions. So, but honestly, as I get busier and now I'm building the multiple companies and stuff, I'm going to need to have the ability to train less often, but still make sure that my diet is on point. Because you don't need to train 6 days a week to be in fantastic shape. You could train twice a week and be in really good shape, but your diet
like
has
what
to,
I do now.
your diet has to be on point.
Yes. Yeah.
And I've never been able to do that, but that's one thing that I know that I'm going to need to do in order to allocate a little bit more time to business building and daddying and all those other things.
Just make your workout count.
Yeah.
And you spend enough time there to make it count too.
Yeah.
And I think your routine has held up over the past, I mean, you've been with the trainer for a year.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
And I mean, it seems like a decade you've been in the gym anyway.
It's been I mean, I've actually started really taking fitness, like, I've been going regularly since like my mid to late 20s, but my diet was a wreck basically until like 2 years ago.
Okay.
I've figured out ways to like lose weight and get in shape, but it was never like, I would always like go back to drinking, and never, like, drinking for me was never a huge problem, but it would just lead to like it was a progress killer. Well, you know, you have a ton of you have a few beers, have a whiskey, you eat an extra 1,000 calories at dinner, and then because you're a little hungover and you ate so much, then you don't go to the gym the next morning, or if you do, you have a really half-assed workout.
Lazy,
then you skip another day, and
you fall into that habit. And
as I've gotten
older, you come off the wagon.
Yes, and then other bad habits, beget more bad habits, and then, you know, as you get older, how old are you?
Ooh, 42.
Okay, so we're the same age.
Record.
So we're the same age. So as you get older, for me at least, I started drinking, you know, because I didn't want to drink that often. I would drink, you know, once or twice a month, which is not a lot.
That's actually really good.
But what would happen is when I would drink, I would really feel bad. And I couldn't sleep, and I'd wake up, and then I'd feel miserable, and I'd start like sweating. And it was almost like I was becoming allergic to alcohol.
You're putting toxins in your body, realistically. I mean, alcohol is a drug, but when you pinpoint the problem, I mean, you were no alcoholic, but you knew that excess calories, they're called empty calories, I guess, when you mix it with soda.
And they make you eat more too.
Well, yeah, you get
the munchies, basically.
100%. And you actually eliminated soda, which I would recommend to anyone trying to lose weight off the cuff. Eliminate the soda, eliminate the alcohol, because that's all sugar you don't even need in your diet. And then you'll be spending all day burning the sugar off instead of getting to the root, which 100%. We want to get to the fat. We want to burn the fat cells. And, you know, one way to do that is just proper nutrition and really putting an effort into the gym to build muscle, you decrease fat.
And honestly, once you start eating the right foods, it's the same thing that happened with me with alcohol. Once I stopped drinking alcohol for once I eliminated 90% of my alcohol, 95% of it, it made me really, like, alcohol just disgusts me now. Like, it makes me the idea of drinking makes me sick, and I literally get physically sick if I drink. So, and the same thing happens with food. Once you start eating like really good, clean, whole foods, like the idea of slamming an entire bag of potato chips, it can, I still fall victim to it here and there, but I pay the price like dearly with the digestion. It really makes you feel messed up.
Your body is running so clean right now.
Yeah.
That if you put any harmful impurities, I wouldn't say impurities, but foods that trigger inflammation, foods that trigger your insulin, foods that just, what, all the oils,
they're just not natural.
No, it's not.
So when you're eating all this natural, when you're eating, like if you went back, like, this is a great way to think about it. If you went back 1,000 years or whatever, 10,000 years, and you gave a caveman like an entire bag of Pringles, right? And you said, you have to eat this. If he ate that whole thing, he would probably literally be sick for days. Like, think about how his stomach is like so attuned to eating like his fruits and his meats and just like stuff straight from the earth. If you gave him some shit from today and made he would get violently ill for a long period of time. And I think that's a good analogy to think of before you're gonna, especially if you've been eating clean and you're like, oh, I'm craving something like. Yeah, if you're craving something, maybe have a bite or two. That's what I do, and then I'm like,
that's what gets the fix over with. Like, oh, let me just try to look.
But it's hard.
Bit of that cake.
I mean, there's a reason why the Pringles saying is once you pop, you can't stop.
Because,
you know
that I'm a salty. Yeah, well, I'm both. I'm a little sweet and salty, but I rather have my salty.
The salt for me, the sweet is okay, whatever. But like the way that like you get to me is with like French fries with like a really good like ketchup, spicy ketchup. Oh my god! Like, but now like,
we know
once
your
you
weakness.
Eat clean, once you eat clean, like that shit just you pay a huge price for that.
And I'm teaching my daughter about like McDonald's.
Oh yeah.
And then she, of course, when we passed by, look, the bad food. Because there's certain studies where I saw like McDonald's fries are like the worst fries you can ever.
Yeah, they're terrible.
The potatoes are all GMO'd and then they're preserved. That they spray them with like this pesticide that they have to wait 3 days.
Yeah, because they want them to like look perfect, and they don't give a shit what it does to the body. Exactly. They just want it to like for marketing.
They want the long fries with no imperfections, right? You saw that? Yeah, it's nutty, and who knows what's in that burger? I mean, it's like 40% filler anyway.
Yeah, it's crazy. Speaking of all this stuff, you've seen Andres, my coach, my biohacking and health coach.
Yes, that guy's great.
And we've been talking. Well, he's my coach, so I talk to him pretty much weekly. But I know that you've been wanting to like hang out with him, and he's going to come to the gym, and he's going to talk to some members, and maybe we're going to do some kind of like collaborations and content together. But it's funny because I sometimes like I'll see something on social media. I'm like, this guy says that kale is bad and vegetables are bad and plant defense chemicals, and I'm like, what's like? It sounds pretty convincing when this guy says it. Like, what's the deal with it? And then I'll like run a lot of stuff by him. So it's very useful to have, and he'll tell me the truth. He'd be like, look, it's not what they're made. Like these guys are. It's basically clickbait, more or less, and they're trying to scare people into like buying their products and buy their pills and like the Liver King kind of like strategy of like say a bunch of outlandish shit so that and they look jacked, and then people will be like, oh wow, this guy must know what he's talking about. He's in sick shape and he's saying all these things and it's working for him, and then maybe I'll buy his supplements, so it's kind of like messed up the way that that industry is working. It's working well for a lot of people.
Sometimes it's like giving you a little false information, and then you don't know who to believe, what to believe, because you're like, I thought kale was good for me. Let me cross-reference that with my nutritionist or your biohack guy.
Right, exactly.
Plus, I love biohacking.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
Our body is such a complex machine.
100%.
It's the most incredible. Like your being can take care of itself. Like you're saying, cavemen. Look, I mean, there's stuff that probably happened that, they didn't have alcohol to put on wounds, and
they didn't have, they had to figure it out and do whatever.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
let the body can heal almost everything.
Yeah.
The problem is when you do it chronically. Mm-hmm. Like, you break your arm, your body will heal. You cut your arm wide open.
It may look a little deformed, but
you have
still
scar
heal.
tissue, but you'll be fine. The problem is when you keep doing it over and over, when you keep poisoning yourself every day forever, then that's when you get cancers. And,
that's the abuse we put our bodies in. Especially with the junk food out there, and
obesity is the biggest problem. It's
50%. I think it's more now.
Yeah, it's over 50% now. Basically, is the reason that it's a big topic now is because of Ozempic. Because now it's like people are like, okay, well,
another shortcut.
I know. I'm glad that you said it like that because I agree. But it's for people like, look, I've been heavy, and I know that once you like are down that rabbit hole, it can be really, really, really hard to break free of like that. It's an addiction, just like anything else. Like it's bad habit.
That's another thing I was referring. I have a client on there. She lost 20 pounds, which was great. Yeah. She got a great figure. Yep. But I'm like, look, get off that stuff. Yeah. Build your muscle now. Yeah. And start conversion.
Yeah. Use it as a kickstart, but don't rely on that as your go-to. Right.
And I think she's now hooked because that's all they know. And they know that, if I take this, I'm going to stay lean, or I'm going to not gain the weight back, because once they come off it, just like steroids, they're probably going to gain
But
the
the
weight
problem
back.
also is the messaging that the doctors and the professionals are saying is that they're not even saying, they're like, this is a drug that you have to stay on. They're not even telling the people, like, they're not even selling them, they're not even giving them the idea that, like, you can use it to, like, help kickstart you. No, they're just saying, like, oh, yeah, like, if this is a drug that if you use it and you lose a bunch of weight, if you come off of it, you'll rebound. Like, as if it's like a physical, biological guarantee. Which it might be somewhat. It might be somewhat of a physiological, psychological thing, but for the doctors and the professionals to just not even sell the chance at, like, you know, and of course think about
That
I mean, we also know it's the best
industry.
business model ever.
Yes, of course. Who doesn't want to lose weight?
Yeah, like, okay, so
way?
biggest market ever. So let's just say 50% of the world or whatever, America is obese. So we can sell this drug to half of the fucking country.
Yeah.
And as soon as we sell it to them, then they're a customer for life.
Yes.
By far the best business model ever.
I mean, isn't that all pharmaceutical companies?
Yeah, basically.
To try to get you hooked on something, to rely on it.
But they've never had one where the market, the possible market was 50% of the country. 50. I mean, they could sell it to basically everybody.
It's interesting how doctors, you know, I guess they get kickbacks or something where they're pumping this drug like Viagra or anything. And another weight loss thing, I think 5 or even more, was the HCG. Was
human
the
growth hormone?
No, I'm sorry. HCG. Oh wait, no, it's HCG. It's a pregnancy hormone.
Okay.
That women produce when they're pregnant.
So, I think I remember hearing about this.
So just like Ozempic, all it does is curb your appetite.
Right.
Doesn't make you hungry.
Okay.
So guess what you're doing? You're taking in less calories.
Yeah, of course.
And burning more.
Yeah.
Isn't that what you're supposed to do?
Yeah, of course.
You know, and you know, operate at caloric deficit in order to lose weight. So that's in a nutshell. You can trick your mind into doing that without the Ozempic, but people rely on the Ozempic because, you know, these pharmaceuticals are really good. They trigger these neurons that shut things off, sensors down.
Oh, they do a fantastic job, and they make it so that they make it so good that you can't imagine not taking it. Yeah. Like, I don't know if you ever took Adderall, like when I was in law school, like almost everybody, like, you feel like it's mandatory, like in law school, to take Adderall.
Yes,
how can you compete without you take this pill and, like, you just want to, like, eat your textbook for 10 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
How can you take one and you're like, fuck, like, how can I not take this tomorrow? Like, I'm not going to be able to function.
I know lawyers too that they went and got through law school without Adderall.
Yeah, 100%.
And some people are lucky they come off of it. And even for your back surgery, you said you were hooked to oxys and stuff.
I took tons of Adderall during law school, and then even the first few years of building my practice. And after my third back surgery, after all my surgeries, I took Percocet. But after my third surgery, I took it way longer than I should have been because I was in so much pain, and I just didn't know. I didn't see, like, any other option. But eventually, I was like, I started having serious health issues and digestion issues with the Percocet, and I was like, well, I have to just deal with the pain. I'm going to die if I don't stop taking the Percocet. So I have to. And then I figured out, I got lucky. And I was able to get off of it, and the pain started coming down eventually. But
the hardest part is the come off. It's like any other addiction. When you're coming off alcohol or cigarettes, you're going to be jonesing. You're going to be like a nervous wreck. You're going to be itching, I guess. Yep. And once you get past the first, I think 72 hours of that, you normalize your body again.
Yeah.
And plus what you just did to your liver and all your kidneys.
Yep.
You know, all that. Pills, I guess, do a number to your stomach.
Yeah.
And it's all about gut health.
No, it's liver.
Too.
Everything.
Oh, yeah, yes, exactly.
What my doctors have been
correct.
explaining to me is that fatty liver is not just historically, people thought that you only get fatty liver from being an alcoholic, but you can also get fatty liver from basically putting anything like unnatural,
like toxic or
anything
foreign substance.
Anything that's hard to digest for the body. So if you're, like, chronically eating processed foods, if you're chronically eating pharmaceutical pills, chronically taking alcohol, all those things can lead to fatty liver. And it's crazy because after my, like, last surgery, they did some blood work, and my doctor, who's obese, he's like, you have borderline fatty liver, and he's like, Yeah, that's like normal. Basically, half of America has that, and I'm like, and then I'm pretty sure fatty liver is like fucking. Basically,
is that how
means,
low we stooped on the totem
I'm pretty
pole?
sure that means like my life expectancy is down 15 to 20 years. Like, all my markers are gonna be down if I have fatty liver. And I was just like, and this guy just fucking casually was like, yeah, you've basically fatty liver, borderline. And I'm like, maybe I should like. I mean, he's fat, so like obviously he doesn't care because for him it's normal, and all his patients are fat probably because everyone's fat.
Yeah,
and I'm like, but I don't want to be fucking fat. I don't want to have fatty liver.
Yeah, I think it's the visceral fat.
Yeah,
the ones that really go into the organs that form around the heart, because that's what makes the heart like harder to pump, and your heart's working overtime just to.
But you don't have choice. I mean, if you're fat, you're basically having. I mean,
there's healthy fat.
Yeah.
Like if you like omega-3s.
Yeah.
If you just pump your body full of omega-3s, now you got a healthy fatty liver.
Yeah.
So it's different than the visceral fat and all
I'm not an expert,
fat.
but all I know is that when he said that to me and the way he said it to me, I was just like, I'm like, fuck this. I'm like, I'm not just going to be a regular fat American guy.
All livers are a little fatty, but then there's the real bad livers that are like, they turn brown and it's really like,
like I don't want to. I'm 42. Like I don't want my life expectancy to be 62, which if I continued on all those things, like my probable life expectancy would be somewhere in the 60s or maybe low 70s.
But
not now. Now it's going to be like 90.
I think it's what, 78, I think.
78?
Oh, good.
But that could be just because it's probably way higher if you're actually like lean and healthy. And you don't have fatty liver disease.
Yeah,
it's probably.
I mean, I think the way people are going nowadays, they're going to be living longer, and the pharmaceutical people ain't going to like that, and the medical industry ain't going to like that. But if we coach what I do, I coach my community to be healthy.
Yeah.
To understand the impurities that are out there, and what you put in your body is what you're going to get out. It's production.
Yeah.
Even it's healthy mind, body, spirit, basically. And, if you can connect the mind to the body first and put good fuel into your body, your brains will operate at a better level. You won't feel tired. You won't have brain fog. You won't have, absent-mindedness, or, there's certain, minerals and vitamins that we can all take. Even mushrooms are great too.
I'm into the mushrooms now.
Oh yeah, great.
I haven't done like psilocybin stuff yet, but
I'm talking about those mushrooms.
No, but even microdosing or doing it under the supervision of someone, like it's a professional, it supposedly can have amazing benefits.
Hey, I can't say, at least I experimented back in.
I never did, but I want to.
Yes.
But I'm doing some mushroom like coffee stuff, and
cool.
I like it, and so. Basically, I made a goal that even though I wasn't drinking a lot, I was drinking very little, but I said I'm gonna stop. So I made a goal to myself that I'm gonna try and not drink this whole year. Okay. So I'm gonna do a whole year of no alcohol, and honestly, I feel great about it. From what I've been seeing, the benefits of like going completely alcohol free start really kicking in like month 3 or 4. So I'm only 5 or 6 weeks in now, but I feel like that decision is paying solid dividends because my goals for fitness and health are very high. Like I've always been someone who
you do aim high. Sir.
Like I don't want to just be in good shape. Like I want to be in ridiculously good shape and natural at age 42, 3 back surgeries. That's a pretty high mountain to climb. So I have my work cut out for me. I can't just be having some alcohol or getting high or sleeping in. Like I have a lot to do.
You want to excel in life, and you want to be always the better version of yourself. So if you know what you were doing back then and you're catching on to, I guess, exchanging a bad habit for a good habit, that's all it counts, you know, and getting into good habits and good, I guess, regimens and routines for your health, because then you'll think twice about, I shouldn't be eating that. Oh, you know what? These people are working out today. I better go with them. Or, this guy's going out tonight. Oh, I can't go out. I got to wake up early. And those are the little things that'll trigger in your mind to be more health conscious.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
I mean, I guess as we get older and we become parents. Like we live long enough to become our parents anyway.
Yeah.
So all the stuff they told me when I was a teenager and 20 are definitely true facts right now. And I'm living their life of a parent and how I've changed. Even my taste buds. Your taste buds change over time too. So those things will kick in as you mature.
Yeah.
You know,
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you develop, a lot of things change when you get older. For me, I'm convinced that I'm just like allergic to alcohol because 2 drinks and I just feel miserable. I can't sleep. I'm up for hours at a time and I just can't deal with that. Like it's too high of a cost to pay.
What was your drink of choice?
I mean, I went through phases. I was a whiskey guy for a long time. I was a tequila guy for a long time. I never really liked beer that much.
So bad.
Tequila's the best by far. That's what Huberman says, and what they all seem to agree on is that tequila is the best if you have to drink. But now with Andres, my coach, I've been talking about like if I'm going to go to like a wedding or I want to feel like buzzed, there's options that are not alcohol. Okay. Like you could do some mushrooms like microdose, or you could do some kava. You could do also some nicotine. You can do some caffeine. You can do like a concoction of all these different things. And you
nicotine
can kind of,
will get you going too.
Nicotine, they're saying now nicotine is not it's not that bad for you. Obviously, smoking is bad, but if you do like edibles or other stuff, it can still be very addictive. But the nicotine itself is not. It can give you a really nice buzz, and it's not really that bad.
My dad smokes cigars for that reason.
Yeah.
It's this little bit of buzz that he catches because he enjoys a good scent of a cigar, and even though he smokes, but like the cigars he gets are like quality tobacco. Yeah, and I guarantee if you unrolled the tobacco leaf and started chewing on it, you would catch a nicotine buzz.
I've had some cigars where I felt really sick because I'm a
lightweight.
I don't have any nicotine. I haven't had any nicotine in my system in 15 years.
It reminds me of you ever see Pinocchio when he's hanging out with the bad kids and they're giving him a cigar and he puffs the whole cigar and he turns green and he starts like.
I smoked a cigar at a wedding in New York like 15 years ago, and I was like sick. I don't think I puked, but I was seeing stars the whole night. I don't even think I inhaled, but it goes into your system.
Yeah, exactly.
But I wanna talk a little bit about what what has it been like working at the gym and having the family business, and now we're going through the transition.
Yes.
So.
What's
it like over there?
It's been a blessing growing up in the gym industry and knowing about health from yay high, even though, I was rejecting some of the good food. I was like, no, I want Doritos.
Of course.
And now I found out Doritos, like, the chemical in Doritos makes you want to eat more Doritos.
Of course. Yeah, it's crack.
Yeah. So,
surprise.
When I was a kid, I was deprived from, soda and stuff like that too. But it was all for the better because then when I actually got involved in the gym was really when I was maybe the summer of 8th grade.
Okay.
When I graduated middle school, it was really time to hit the gym.
Okay.
Even though I was
you're
playing,
like 13, right?
Yeah, I was middle school basketball.
You're like, I can get muscles and girls will pay attention
to
me.
You don't want to come in as a scrawny freshman.
Yeah, you don't want to be 130.
Yes, exactly. So I hit the gym with my friend. I got a trainer. I learned everything about...
Your dad was always in really good shape too, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you wanted to be like your dad.
He's a 6-day-a-week guy, no matter what. And he's always power lifted and he always believed in being strong and doing like 80% of your max and stuff like that.
Was the gym already was the gym already there when you were born?
Pretty much, yes.
The family business?
Daddy started 78. I was born 81.
Okay.
And I pretty much, was born in the gym.
Okay, so the gym was born 3 years before you.
Yes.
And it was his from the get.
Yeah, his from the get. He was in
same location, right?
Oh, we were in North Miami Beach.
Okay.
Northeast 6th Avenue in North Miami.
Okay.
And that was his first location.
Okay.
It was a real, like ironworks gym. Like nothing but the ironworks in there. Like we didn't have cardio back then. There was I remember when he first got his first cardio piece.
It was like hardcore bodybuilding.
It was like a bike. And
did he ever actually do any bodybuilding? Like, did he compete ever?
Yes, he did.
Your dad did. Oh, okay, that makes sense.
He competed in an all natural show.
Okay.
And it worked out, but then the guy who claimed he was natural
Was cheating.
kind of got off the stuff before the
I'm natural this week, and I took steroids until this week.
Yeah, I took it all the way through up until like 12 weeks ago.
They don't even have that. Do they even do bodybuilding shows?
Yeah, they do
with,
all natural
with
shows.
Natty or not? They do with testing.
Yes, because there is an all-natural show, and it's an all-natural league they developed.
Okay.
And they do test you like a week before the show or that week
And
of the show.
and maybe randomized testing too. Do they do like to make sure that you're not training with it before?
You know what? It's like that gray line. It's like baseball.
Yeah.
It's like
because everybody they want you to.
It's like
be
in the
jacked.
off season. I come to spring training.
Yeah.
Like, what happened to you, bro?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, in a way, he loved the sport, and he loved getting in the best shape of his life, because that's what you do when you're a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
You compete with yourself, and you say, hey, I'm ready to get in the best shape of my life. I'm going to be in the best condition of my life, and this is how I'm going to discipline myself to do it.
Yep.
And it kind of sets a timeline, and it sets a deadline to be like, okay, I got 12 weeks before the show. I'm going to go balls to the wall. I need to be in the gym twice a day, or I need to eat my 6 meals a day.
I need to sleep at 9 o'clock every night.
Yeah, it's really routine.
That's what I love about it, because it's so simple, but it's so hard.
Yes.
At the same time. It's not complicated. Like my words that I picked are very precise. It's so simple, but it's so difficult.
Well,
it's not complicated.
Difficulty ends up with the disciplinary action.
Yes, of course. That's where all the difficulty is.
Us as humans, we're easily, drifted in maybe another direction.
Yeah.
Or we get discouraged and we're like, this ain't working. Fuck it, I'm not going to do it. Or I'm not going to do the show. Or, but I think it's a great sport. My only beef with the sport is the, PEDs.
Yeah, of course.
It's like baseball, so it comes with the sport, and that's why I had to accept as a kid, because I'm hanging around these big guys, all juiced up, and I see these guys. I'm like, wow, look at these, they look like superheroes. I mean, I was a He-Man fan back in in the '80s, and I was like, wow, these guys are jacked like He-Man. Wow, I want to be like He-Man, and then I just developed an approach towards being more of an athlete, because that was my first sport was baseball. That's why I was pretty much better at it than any other sport. So I took more of an approach to looking at these baseball ideologies, with these players, and then the sport changed, as I got into high school. And next thing you know, I'm looking, I have a Mark McGwire rookie card from '89. The guy's a toothpick in the picture. And he turned into
a freaking
a freak show. Yeah, man.
So when did the gym move? Has it been just in 2 locations, or was there other places?
It wasn't 2 locations for about 4 years at the time.
So he had the original and he had the Aventura?
We had the original in North Miami.
Okay.
And then we moved to Aventura in '91 before Aventura became a city. And
it wasn't even a city then.
Yeah, we were on like the cutting edge, man. We were like, let's set up shop
in the current location.
Yeah, the plaza we're in was built in '88.
Okay,
and there was already a gym in there that was already laid out for us.
So there was a gym before, and they just only lasted a few years. They only
lasted a few years.
And you took over,
and then we took over.
Okay.
And,
do you remember? Do you remember that?
Yes,
you would have been like 8 or 9.
I was exactly 92. I was 11 years old. No, 91. Yeah, I was like 10 years old.
Yeah. So you remember that?
I remember that.
That's so cool.
It's these memories really stick.
You remember going and like Daddy showing you like, we're gonna like turn this into our gym.
He's like, let's take a look at it. And I was like, wow, what a great space, because it was way better than our dingy Ironworks gym.
I'm sure it must have been a lot bigger, right?
Like it was. Yes. We're about 17.5 top and bottom at our facility now.
Okay.
So we're a little, not like a big box gym, but just private enough to get everything done, and we have a lot to choose from, of course, And I remember as a kid that I couldn't wait to work out at this gym. And Daddy was like, oh yeah, we can do a little something, but he never made me lift. He just wanted me to be athletic. And then, like I said, the summer of middle school, I guess 95, it was 95, I started training. I wanted to do sports in high school, and I wanted to go into high school not looking like a little scrawny kid that I was, and that didn't happen. and I was still scrawny, and I was like, why? I was getting
hard,
in better
man.
shape.
Yeah.
I was becoming a better athlete, or I was becoming faster.
But you weren't looking
maybe
like He-Man.
stronger, but I wasn't gaining the weight because my
Like a pound a
metabolism was
year,
like a racehorse.
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
have
what
friends
am I
like
doing?
that. I know exactly what
And
that's like.
it took me a while to really gain weight. And I remember like one day, I guess coming out of college, I remember like, all right, I'm done drinking. I want to get back into the gym, like I mentioned earlier. And I hired a trainer. I'm like, I need to put 10 pounds on me, man.
Yeah.
Do it. And I gained 10 pounds in 6 weeks.
Wow.
And it was like, I didn't know I can do this, but he had me eating like when I don't really want to eat, and the protein as a meal replacement. And I really, really bulked up. It was very, very incredible. And that was my first taste of, damn, if I can do this, anyone can do this.
Yeah, all it takes is a little work.
When I was at high school, I was a little discouraged, and I was like, I'll keep working out. And that's when I started playing basketball like every day and got on the baseball team and, did the flag football, at the rec centers. And I was just heavily involved with sports. And I know sports and exercise, they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
One complements the other.
Yeah, you need. In fact, that's something that I was really sleeping on up until really like a year ago. I was doing my lifting, but I wasn't like exercising as what I would call cardio.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what the real difference was is like in me, but I think I started like really paying more attention to like the professionals in the business, and they were all like emphasizing like you have to do some cardio. It's really good for you. Even if you just want to be like jacked, like you can there's still a ton of benefits and health benefits from doing your cardio, getting your heart rate going.
Key.
Yeah.
I have my main, I guess my top 5, pillars of fitness. And at the top, I always believed in strength training.
Yeah.
To feel strong, resistance training, anything that engages your muscles.
Yep.
It's
a mandatory.
enhance.
If you don't,
Yes.
And they say now it's like without having a little bit of muscle mass on you, it's like it's bad for your skeletal system and your whole body.
Yeah.
So I want to hear the top 5.
Muscular skeletal system is key.
So number 1 is training.
Number 1 is
resistance.
training at the top, baby. Work on those weights. Number 2 is your cardio, because I feel weights and cardio do go hand in hand. You want to last longer. You want endurance. You want stamina. You want to, if you're only running, maybe a half mile or a mile, but you always want to do a 5K, that's what you got to work up to.
Yeah.
And you got to build that up. And that's the only way to do it is in your cardio
it makes a big
routine.
Difference. It makes me feel a lot better too. It makes you feel really good
well,
too.
the endorphin release is key, because
amazing.
that's like the best thing. The runner's high is probably the best drug you can ever take, and I encourage everyone to take it and start running.
Yeah, it's fire. It's really good. I kind of want to experiment with a little bit more running, because I love running, but it's always been hard on me. I've always been heavy and my back.
Okay.
I do the Stairmaster, and I probably just could go harder on the Stairmaster and whatever.
Anything
but
that impacts, like, of course, our treadmills have the flex deck, so it's less impact, like if you were running on concrete.
Yeah.
But once we put less impact on your lower back, such as maybe an elliptical movement.
Yeah.
Or how do you feel with the row? Have you done rowing lately?
I can't row. It's
okay,
too
because
much.
sometimes it is pulling on the back.
No, the Stairmaster, I can burn a ton of calories and really get a good sweat.
Have you done the Versa Climber yet? Or the Jacob's
No, I
Ladder?
haven't tried that one. It's next to it, right?
Yeah, I'll take you that.
Yeah,
I'll take you on that tomorrow.
But
because it's cross crawl movements, and it's antagonistic movements that you normally don't do, but it's in our motion, it's in our everyday mobility, to do that. Also, my third on the list is your balance and flexibility. People neglect that the most.
Probably
I feel.
neglecting that.
Some people can't even touch their toes.
Yeah.
But getting into a good stretching routine, yoga, something that will allow you to create a balance, even standing on one leg for, 15 seconds, that'll help your balance and flexibility. But I encourage everyone to also stretch, after.
Stretching is great. I do love stretching.
I believe in a warm-up. You don't need to stretch on a warm-up. You need to do a little bit of blood flow in the warm-up. But definitely after, get a nice stretch in, because that's when you're really loose.
Yeah.
And you can really dig deeper into your stretches, once you are able to complete your workout routine. On the major, really doesn't have to do with the actual training routine.
Yeah.
But it encompasses all three of what I've spoke about is your nutrition.
Yeah.
And without nutrition, you cannot become a more flexible person. You cannot become a
Stronger
more
person,
distant runner.
Yeah.
You cannot become a stronger person without proper nutrition. And that should be my number one, really. But I like to go down the line. I like to save some best for last. But the last one is, I would say, get yourself a good coach.
Yeah.
Because someone that has your back, or someone that is really pushing you to beyond the limit or beyond our expectations, that's where good coaching comes in. And it's like I said, I didn't think I can gain all this weight. I never thought I can do 10 push-ups or pull-ups or whatever it comes down to. When you impress yourself with your, I guess, activity level or just being able to finally accomplish something that maybe was a far-fetched thought, and that you actually showed up and you completed that mission.
Yeah.
Then you find a new mission to do. You keep it going.
Coaching.
And that's what coaches do. They accomplish one thing, go right to the next
Coaching is
phase.
amazing. I slept on coaching for a long time, and I was the kind of person always that, like, in school, like, I like to teach myself. Like, I never, like, I would go to class and I just couldn't I couldn't listen to the teacher. If I could ever skip, I would skip as much class as I possibly could. Yes. But I would get great grades. I would just be like, I'm going to teach myself everything. I'm going to just lock myself in a room a week before the test. I'm going to teach myself everything, and I'm going to go at my pace and whatever. So that worked for me for the most part in school. But as I got older now, and I've forced myself to do some coaching, it has been the greatest thing I've done. I have coaches in like 5 different areas of my life. I have like a psychologist, like business coach. Excellent. I have obviously a personal training coach. I have my biohacking health and wellness coach. And then I even have other coaches in other areas. And it's obviously like a blessing to be able to afford it. You could scale it. Like, maybe you can only afford to have a coach a few times a year, like whatever. And if you can afford it, you get it more than that. But it's obviously uncomfortable, but just like everything in life,
you gotta break that comfort zone.
The most value lies on the other side of being uncomfortable. So you sit down with your coach and you like, look, I've been bad. I've been drinking soda. I've been drinking alcohol.
You got to be upfront and disclose that stuff. I haven't been making
my business coach. I haven't been making my content. I've been lazy. Every time it comes to making content for marketing, I just I delay it, or I cancel my podcast, or whether it's marketing, whether it's business. Well, every time it's time to go on a date night or with my wife, like I poo-poo it, or I don't treat her. Relationships like these recurring behaviors, they happen in all your areas of life. So having like a coach where you're like, okay, it's time to talk. Like I have to tell you the truth.
They balance that for you, because it's great to get it off your chest, because you want someone to talk to. And this right here, what we're doing is fantastic, because then other people can relate. And then that we are speaking honesty and truth to you because of through our experience.
Totally.
And people relate to that more than anything else. And see how important coaching is, because
it's true.
He's got like 5 of them. And if you can find one good life coach or someone to encompass kind of all that, because you want a psychologist on that level, you want a fitness coach, you want like you said, or health and wellness coach. But even a business coach, because even in my business, I've had business coaching on numerous levels. You know how many seminars I've been to, working with business professionals, and through my education, not only through college, after graduating, you got to continue educating yourself. And part of that is what, like Brent just said, is teaching self-taught. My dad is self-taught. So he told me, shit, you want to go to college? Go to college. But everything I learned was from the library, or, back in the day, right?
Or from the field.
Well,
I think that you learn the most by far. And I have a lot of degrees. People know I went to law school, I went to undergrad, I went to business school. And it's okay. Like some people need degrees, but a lot of people don't. Like I'm not that big on degrees, you know. I think that society's changing a lot, and I think that getting the degrees is becoming less and less important. I mean, look, doesn't matter how many degrees you have after you've been working for like 2 years, the next job you like interview for or the next thing you do, they're never going to ask you what your GPA was, and they're never going to ask you what you majored in. All they're going to say is, what have you been doing the last 2 years?
What was your SAT scores?
What have you been working on the last 2 years? Oh, I did this deal, and I worked on this deal, and I worked for this company, and I did this. And they're going to be like, oh, cool, you're hired. Or no, we don't like that experience. You're not like, all that matters after you've been working for 2 years is what you've been doing for your work career. Well, that's what it comes
to is experience.
Yeah.
Like, what is your experience in the field?
Yeah.
I guess having a degree is kind of key, gets your foot in the door, and it kind of gets you an interview or whatever if you're qualified. But honestly, when people work entry level, they see your work ethic. And I think work ethic, from my dad's perspective, spoke louder than any degree, because he was a high school dropout.
Yeah.
And he didn't know what direction to take in life. And all of a sudden he found his niche, which was health and wellness and making people feel good about themselves. And
I love the new trend where like the big companies, I think Elon's doing this, where it's like, we don't care about like your degrees. Like, we sit down for 5 hours and show us, like, do a coding, like let's show us what your like experience and show us what your chops are. And if you're a badass, we'll hire you. Yeah. You know, I love that. It's like, show us what you can do. We're paying you to do things. We're not paying you to look pretty or have a diploma. We're paying you to come to our business and do things. So show up and do things. Exactly. And then if we like the things you do, you get paid.
Are you productive?
Yeah. Can you do these things?
Are you proactive? Yeah. Are you a go-getter? You know, and those are the qualities that really stick out when hiring people or working for a good company. I forget who quoted this, but I think someone said, I don't know who quoted this, but they ask, don't tell me what you know, tell me where you've been.
Yeah.
And then by telling me where you've been, I'll tell you, you're going to tell me what you know.
For sure, 100%. Like, yeah, if you haven't done it, you don't know it. It's that's a big truth. So, yes. But yeah, the coaching thing is, I think one of the things about coaching that is really important is, so you do a coaching session, right? And you talk about what you're going to do and how you can be better. And then let's just say you do a coaching call once a month, right? And then you have a month to yourself where you're not talking to your coach, but you know that next call
check-in's coming.
That next call is coming. And you're going to have to either lie, or even better, there's data, right? The scale's going to decide, or you're going to have to say, this is what's been going on. This is how many podcasts I filmed. This is how many posts I made. This is how many clients I signed up. The time of reckoning is coming. And it's when you have a coach, you either cancel that appointment or you show up and you either lie or you just and that
honesty is the best policy.
The day of reckoning is coming, and it forces you to have that like recurring feedback loop with your coach where you're like, I messed up. I've just been lazy. You know, I'm going to try better. And then maybe you do that a few times and you're like, I don't want to keep telling my coach that I suck. Like, I don't want to keep being a failure.
What am I paying him for?
All I have to do is just do these things, right? Yeah. Like, I can just not eat fried food this month and not eat alcohol, not drink alcohol, and not drink soda. And when I have my check-in call, like, I'm going to be down 5 pounds and I'm going to feel better, and I can have like, I can pat myself on the back and actually feel good about who I am.
Yes.
And that, like, it just kind of gives you that feedback loop, or that accountability, I think is a big thing. It forces you to tell it is
accountability. That's what coaches do, what they do, because they're holding you accountable, because guess what? You're paying them for this moment, or for them to make you better or get you to your goal. And if you're not accomplishing that with yourself, they're only the guiding light. If it's going to be, it's up to me.
Yes.
And that's where you got to put yourself first.
It's not about finding the perfect coach.
No.
It's about just saying, okay, this person's good enough, and I need to go through this struggle. I need to go through this process.
And if your coach is a good coach, he'll be a little hard on you.
Yeah.
And he won't be lenient. And I've had coaches where, I mean, they went to go to someone's house and tell them, no, you're training today. You're not. You're 3 days a week with me. You're not skipping Friday.
Yeah, you've skipped 2 in
I
a
know
row.
you went out last
Yeah.
night. You come in. I don't care what it is. I don't feel good. Well, you're gonna feel better after this. We all know that.
Yeah,
if
of
you feel like
course.
crap now, you go to the gym. You're gonna feel great after.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
That's how it happens.
Of course, I feel great after every workout.
Yeah,
so.
man.
Yeah,
You know?
coaching is huge. Coaching is amazing. So
And the lifestyle, or even the online coaches, for example, they do like MyFitnessPal, my fitness tracker. So what you're talking about, accountability, is like, if I don't put my routine in there, or I don't tell them what I ate, guess what? They're gonna look at this like, you're a joke, bro.
Yeah.
You want to keep wasting money? I'll keep coaching you.
Yeah.
But this has been a month already, or it's been
you're
2 months
throwing your
already,
money away.
and you're still at the same level you were at. So either change your habits, or really just wait till it's a better time, because the hardest choice to make are those decisions where I don't want to work out, or I'm going to eat this instead of this today, and it really can throw your whole routine off. If you're not on the straight road, you'll get lost.
Yeah.
You got to stay on that straight path, man.
So as we're kind of getting maybe closer to the end, and we're gonna do more episodes together, and we're gonna interview some other members of the gym and the community together. You'll be a recurring guest for sure. What now that the gym has transitioned from a family business to its next pair of hands?
Yes.
Like, I just want to talk through that with you. You're still on board and you're still
Yes.
with the team. And like, what's the vibe? I kind of took it for granted, but for the last 3 months, a lot of changes happened at the gym. We got
Yes.
the new color scheme.
Yeah,
we got new
yeah.
machines, which
Yeah.
there's one machine that really is good for me because I can't squat because of my back. So I use
yes,
that. I
the
use the
pendulum
belt
yes,
squat,
yes, the
which
belt
is
squat,
really,
yes.
I used it today for the first time.
Fantastic.
And I felt really good. I could actually go heavy. It doesn't put any pressure on my low back, but it's part of the bigger thing, which is, even though, your dad and you did a great job over these years, and it was family business and mom and sister, having a fresh pair of hands involved is always a cool vibe
great.
change. So
Look,
let's talk about it.
When you've been under the same, I guess, business mind or ownership for, since I was working there from 15 years old till now, I felt this was a perfect timing. It was post-pandemic. Fitness is going to be in more than ever now because people are more health conscious more than ever.
Yeah.
There's been a spike of Gen Z that, I guess because of social media, that all they want to do is work out. Even though they do it for the vanity of it, which is kind of like my little beef with that.
A lot of people get started for that.
Yeah. But then they realize, oh, okay, look, you know what? I'm healthy. And then they kind of get over the fact that
they're like, man, this makes me feel good. I'm coming for life because I could not imagine like getting out of shape.
And that generation, I read in one of my Club Solutions magazine, 38% more exercisers out of that generation than any other generation. And they're the next next gen leading into, I guess, the health and wellness craze. And it's really been a nice journey with, my parents, because they're old school, right? So nothing like the old school, going down to the basics, you can leave it there, or I can take it to the next level. And I think we're ready for a next level event. And I just need someone with the same business mindset. And I searched far and wide. There was other gyms that made us offers that they wanted to, make it their own gym, but I was like, no.
How did you wind up getting connected with the new team?
It was just, I think the rumor spread that we were selling the gym because we entertained a friend of ours from another gym that were like, hey, would you be willing to take over the spot and do something with this? And then I guess the word on the street was out, and all of a sudden this gentleman called me out of nowhere, and this guy's from another country, and he's in town. He's like, hey, I heard you're selling the gym. I want to take a look at it. I'm like, okay, let's set an appointment. He came in, and it was like a breath of fresh air when he came in, because he was like, he's also in the family business of.
He's in very good shape.
Yeah, he's in very good shape. He I guess, operated gyms. And of course, with his partner, they also did the marketing for gyms and stuff. And his wife is a competitor. So they're
Bodybuilding?
Yes. I think bikini or
Something,
I think
whatever.
bikini.
I call it all. It's bodybuilding.
Yeah. It's always like that. I know. In old school, it's always been bodybuilding.
Yeah.
But they're in the business of.
Very cool.
It wasn't just I just need someone to, take over and put the money in, but they're heavily involved and they know the business real well.
That's the best.
And I can relate to that. And
That's very good.
The fact that they wanted to keep the name and grow the name, I was like, I'm on board with this, man. I was
That's
like,
amazing.
look, we can, and they're looking to, of course, open more satellite studios.
Okay.
We plan on being one of the largest personal training centers in South Florida, and kind of having this as your main hub.
Yep.
The original
the Mecca.
Olympia, the Mecca, and then they're going to expand throughout.
Nice.
And I'm going to go on the journey with them because
that's amazing.
nothing more that I love than the fitness business.
I really, really want to do another episode, and I want you to bring the new for the next episode.
I would love to.
As maybe one or even two of the new team into the studio. I want to talk about the future of the gym.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about making content in the gym.
Yes.
I want to talk about inspiring the new generation.
Yes.
Putting all of our local, all the people that are in our network here in our community, getting in good shape, inspiring others, to kind of take that onto the internet and scale that, and have all the people that watch us come to our neighborhood, train with us in our gym, come to our studio, tell their story, all that good stuff. Mm-hmm. So, the health, getting healthy as like an epidemic and letting that spread,
exactly.
is
like you said, we got to convince the other 50% of this nation that this works. And this is good. This is going to be your path to longevity. It's going to be your path to less doctor visits in the future.
100%.
And, so you want to live life free and clear. This is one way to take care of your health free and clear.
Yeah.
And it's been a pleasure, being here today.
Yeah,
and
we're going to do it again.
Seeing all this
soon.
come together as you, started your podcast, and I plan on doing more stuff with you, and
100%.
Love working with you. And you're a great guy, and you do great things out for the community, especially with your law practice, because
Thank you, I appreciate it.
You really serve the community well. So
I'm very excited about. I really see Olympia as playing a big role in my journey, because it's where I'm getting in shape. It's where I've kind of changed my life and my transformation. And now I'm a dad and getting really healthy and, training there and meeting people there. And I'm representing people that work out there, and I'm having, people come to, I want to help some of the other members come to the studio and build their content out and help them grow their businesses and their life. So
everyone has a story.
Yeah, man.
And I've seen so many, from working there from young, I've seen so many people come in and out of that gym that done amazing things, that accomplished so much, that they moved on. Like, for instance, take Zumba.
Yeah.
The guy came over from Colombia. We gave him a job.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, he's a multi-millionaire.
It's amazing.
American dream stuff. And even other people that came in that, maybe from bodybuilding perspective, but other business people, because we live in an affluent area where Invicta watches.
Yeah.
I remember when they first started, I think the brothers came to the gym.
Yeah,
they're local.
Yeah,
and they came to the gym, and they're like, "Whoa, I have a new watch I came out with." And it was like...
So you remember when they started that brand?
And there's also other brand, Perfect 10.
I don't know.
It's a hair product.
Okay.
And, they came in with their hair products in the beginning, and now, they were selling to all the local beauty salons, Sally's Beauty Supply, all that stuff.
Yeah, it's an amazing... Aventura is it's a really amazing area where a lot of people from all over the world come, but especially South Florida. So I'm looking forward to a lot more networking and telling people stories. So
wait, before we go, I want to show you guys, because I know he's a watch enthusiast.
Oh yeah, I forgot to ask you about your watch.
Not that I want to show off or anything, but I I only hope to get to that level of watch,
Oh,
because I
stop.
know he's a collector.
Oh, stop.
And I have my Rolex timepiece on. You want to get close up to that? Okay.
We can do it. No, but it's funny that you brought it up because you wore it to the. I've never seen you wear a nice watch. And you wore it to the gym this morning.
Yeah, I can't wear nice things
and
to the gym.
I was
They get
like,
ruined.
and I was just like, wow. I love watches and I wear watches a lot, but I couldn't believe how big of a difference it just made you look like. I want to say like an adult, but kind of like, I don't know, a better word that just made you just felt so grown up wearing a watch. Yeah, I don't know. It was wild. It made you really
now I look
feel
my
like
age.
grown up. I don't know. Like, it's just funny. Like putting the watch on makes a huge difference.
Thank you. It does.
But,
A nice timepiece on your wrist really says a lot about a man and how they're dressed and how they
it's true. It
take
really
care of
is.
themselves.
It really is. So that's a topic that I could talk about forever.
I'm sure.
We'll talk about.
Well, he is a
watches
collector,
soon. Yeah.
and I appreciate your collection,
Thanks for
and I
putting
want
it
to
on.
show you my
Sign
collection.
of respect. He put on his Rolex.
Just
I've never
for
even
the-
seen him
just
wear
for
it
the show.
in 10 years, but for the podcast, he put his Rolex on.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Thanks for brother. Appreciate it.
Yes,
Yeah.
most definitely.
Yeah,
Thank you
I
so
can't wait
much
to do
for
it
having
again.
me. Definitely. Thank you, guys.